In every age, humanity invents new ways to see further. The telescope let us glimpse the stars. The microscope revealed the worlds within us. For centuries, thinkers like Leibniz, Shannon, and Turing dreamed of making all knowledge computable. But today, knowledge grows faster than our ability to understand it. Trillions of data points, a universe of information still unconnected. Now, a new instrument emerges, one capable not only of observing the universe, but of understanding it. Genesis mission will transform how science is done in America, uniting our brightest minds, most powerful computers, and vast scientific data into one living system for discovery. Built on artificial intelligence and quantum computing, it will radically redefine the scale, speed, and purpose of scientific progress in America. This is the work that will define our generation's legacy. A new revolution begins, one guided not by competition alone, but by curiosity, imagination, and the belief that discovery is the truest form of progress.
What? What did they say? There's elements of the world that are still not connected. Who says who? Connected to what? And why are you the people to connect them? What are you talking about? How are things in the world not connected? We're all connected in some way. The objective empiricist scientist mind must physically connect you and link you up to the hive mind. Otherwise, you're not connected. We're all connected in God, in the spirit. What are you talking about? Why do you people take it upon yourselves to be the gods of society, of the world, to say, we'll do it, we'll connect us all to the hive brain. We deserve to control everything. Discovery is the truest form of progress, right? Wait, I thought we were against progressivism. I thought we weren't progressives. Trump, what's going on, big guy? What's going on? Progressing towards what? They never tell us that, right? They never say, what are we progressing towards? What exactly are we progressing towards? Full spectrum dominance? Is that what it is? That sounds crazy. Total mind rape in the hive mind? Uploading my consciousness to the AI? Is that what we're doing? I don't know if I want that. Oh, no, but you see, we have to own the libs. We have to own the libtards. I gotta fix this. This is pissing me the hell off. We gotta look good for the CIA. This is a government thing. Yeah, this is Trump. The Department of Energy released this promotional video for Trump's new AI project. Is progress always progress? That's what I'm saying. What are we progressing towards? We're progressing towards AI techno-feudalism. Wow, that sounds like progress to me. Sounds like regress. And then we get the Trump propaganda. Dude, he's got the laser eyes. Not gonna lie, this shit goes hard. Not gonna lie. I can already feel myself agreeing with this from off of this image. This is going to be Tower of Babel 2.0. You know, as much as I talk about how doom and gloom things are when it comes to this, there is a part of me that harkens back to the Tower of Babel in the Bible. And I think this is going to have a way at blowing up in their face. I think about communism too, people living in Soviet Russia. I think about World War II and think how there's probably a lot of people who thought that was the end. That was it. This is over, where there's no way of getting out of this. This is totalitarian control. This sucks. And what happened? It took time, but what happened? It blew up. Some of me also think that's probably going to happen too. This is the kind of propaganda that I like. Yes, we need more of this type of shit on the TL. We need more of this type of shit. The speed at which they're doing this is also crazy. The timelines are aggressive enough to matter. 60 days is a list of challenges, 90 days full inventory of federal computer network storage for Genesis. That's data harvesting, which is your data. 120 days initial model and data assets, plus a plan to ingest more data sets, other agencies, academia, and the private sector. Yo, the private and public sectors are synthesizing together to implement AI grid. This is it. 120 days we got. By April, didn't I say that 2026 is going to be something big? Is this it? Is this what they're talking about? This is it? We'll see how it goes. By 240 days, they're going to map all robotic labs and automated facilities across national labs. By 270 days, they want to demonstrate initial operating capability on at least one challenge. Goal is a functioning AI for science loop online in less than 9 months. Holy shit, dude. This also formalizes a federal AI stack parallel to the commercial one. So is the commercial one Palantir? They're going to be creating a Palantir.gov. The order tells the Department of Energy and the White House Science Office to align agency AI programs and data sets onto this platform, collectivization of all the data onto one platform, run joint funding calls and prize programs, build partnership frameworks with external players. This is key right here. NVIDIA, OpenAI, Anthropic, xAI, Google, the clouds, biotech, and chip companies are now potential suppliers and co-developers for a DOE AI system. There you have it. And the government was just talking about owning a 10% stake in Intel recently too. This is technocracy. This is technocratic fascism right here. There's going to be no delineation between the private and public sectors. They're going to combine to create this hive mind AI grid. All your private data, I love that word, private. It's private. Private sector is now going to be part of the public sector. Skynet, exactly. That's what this is. This is the start of that. They're literally going to arrest people for non-normie footprints. Yeah. They're going to have you already pegged as a threat based on your past data. I think ultimately people who are deemed too much of a threat are going to be coerced based on your search history into doing what they want, into acting how they want you to act. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. They're going to use kind of a Jeffrey Epstein black book kind of operation built into this, a back door with all your cameras and all your microphones and everything, and what you say, what you search, and they're going to utilize that. They're going to compartmentalize that, centralize all that information, and they're going to say, hey, if you don't do what we want you to do, we're going to release all your information. Social credit score, right? Yeah. Blackmail, yeah. Absolutely. What did Larry Ellison say in that video we watched? He said, everybody's going to be on their best behavior. Everybody's going to be watched and surveilled, and they'll be forced to be on their best behavior. Cops will be on their best behavior. Citizens will be on their best behavior. You're going to have no room to be a human. You have to act in the way we want you to act.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
The Discord mods will be the people who were poo-pooing on you, who were ratting you out during COVID. Those people were proven to be good stooges of the state, and those people will be the ones that they give power to. Those will be the ones who were working at the AI centers to filter through your nasty comments. I think that was problematic. I think he should be fined. Genesis marks a clear shift. Until now, frontier AI has been mostly driven by private labs. With Genesis, the U.S. is explicitly building a state-run AI backbone for science, energy, and security. Department of Education coordinates a national AI for science platform. National labs and supercomputers become part of a unified AI stack. Models, agents, and robotic labs are treated as strategic infrastructure, not just as tools. So it's integration of these things into the infrastructure of the government. It's not external to it anymore. It's not something that we utilize to help us. It's now part of the government. The question now are who supplies the computer and models, how IP and data are shared, and how fast other countries launch their own Genesis-style efforts. I keep thinking of that. What's that quote from Star Trek where he says, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist, Nanny T. I'm a streamer. Talk to me like a normal person. What is all this shit? They should call it Skynet instead. Didn't somebody say Genesis is Skynet? Right. Was that what it was called? Genesis was called? Yes. In the alternative timeline presented in the movie Terminator Genesis in 2015, the AI known as Skynet was introduced to the public as a revolutionary new operating system called Genesis. You guys want to talk about predictive programming? There you go. That's it right there. In this specific film's continuity, Genesis was a massive app designed to link all internet and military devices. That's exactly what we're seeing now. The plan was for it to come online and achieve self-awareness, at which point Judgment Day would begin. The phrase used in the film to explain to the characters and the audiences was, remember, Genesis is Skynet. You can't get any more straightforward than that, people. Hello. All right, so we got this portion from the Technocracy study guide written in the 1930s, the design of Technocracy, and it has 7 points here on what they want Technocracy to achieve. So number one, it says register on a continuous 24-hour time period basis the total net conversion of energy, which would determine A, the availability of energy for continental plant construction and maintenance, B, the amount of physical wealth available in form of consumable goods and services for consumption by the total population during the balanced load period. So complete management of your consumption by means of the registration of energy converted and consumed to make possible a balanced load. It's so funny that the Department of Energy is one of the ones, it's the department that's pushing this Genesis mission. It's interesting. Number 3, provide a continuous 24-hour inventory of all production and consumption. That's scary, man. A continuous 24-hour inventory of all production and consumption. Number 4, provide a specific registration of the type, kind, etc. of all goods and services where produced and where they're used. AI ledger of all of where we're using things, how we're using things, to the degree, how much. Number 5, provide specific registration of the consumption of each individual, plus a record and description of the individual. That's data harvesting. That's data harvesting. That was one of the first things they said they're going to do. In the first 120 days, they said data assets plus a plan to ingest more data sets, other agencies, academia, and the private sector. The private sector is key. You think when you're using a product, it's just between you and the business. You are detached from the government. Not anymore. They're going to be sucking all that information in to produce a ledger and to see how much you're using. To see if it's balanced. Are you balanced out? You, the individual, are you contributing enough? Contributing too much? What's going on here? What's going on, big guy? You took a road trip the other week. That was not cool, man. We have these beautiful, what do they call them? 15-minute cities. You can walk around all day in those cities. You can take the public transport. We've provided for you. You cannot go. You cannot. Listen, sweetheart, you cannot drive that far. It's bad. It's bad for the climate. It's bad for energy consumption for the whole. It's not balanced. We're going to deduct you 7,000 social credit score for that one. Number 6, allow the citizens the widest latitude of choice in consuming his individual share of continental physical wealth. Number 7, distribute goods and services to every member of the population. Okay, number 6 is interesting. Allow the individual citizen the widest latitude of choice in consuming his individual share of continental physical wealth. Is this like when Elon Musk says it'll be universal high income?
And we'll have, in a benign scenario, universal high income, not just universal basic income, universal high income, meaning anyone can have any products or services that they want.
You'll be rich. You'll be able to experience it all. What they'll probably do is that they'll roll out like CBDCs and kind of this model of controlling distribution and consumption. But in the beginning, it'll be very loose and liberal, and people will be allowed a bunch of abundance. But then over time, they'll just wane it down and wane it down and wane it down. That's probably what's going to happen. People are going to be, they're going to be like, oh, I don't have to work anymore. And I get all this shit and it's great. I don't have to do any of this stuff. And then Elon Musk is like, I told you it's going to be universal high income. And then over time, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. This one is also very scary. Distribute goods and services to every member of the population. Everything will be run through this AI checkpoint system based on your energy consumption, your consumption in general, and your production. The production of those people and the consumption. All this is just nerd shit, right? This is the ultimate command economy. We're using technology and AI. It's no longer dictated by people. It's no longer dictated by fascists or communists, the Politburo or whatever. It's dictated by the computers, the technology we've created. Not good.
What they call the social credit system. If any of these family photos, if any of your activities online, if your purchases, if your associations, if your friends are in any way different from what the government or the powers that be of the moment would like them to be, you're no longer able to purchase train tickets. You're no longer able to board an airplane. You may not be able to get a passport. You may not be eligible for a job. You might not be able to work for the government. All of these things are increasingly being created and programmed and decided by algorithms. And those algorithms are fueled by precisely the innocent data that our devices are creating all of the time, constantly, invisibly, quietly, right now. Our devices are casting all of these records that we do not see being created, that in aggregate seem very innocent. You were at Starbucks at this time. You went to the hospital afterwards. You spent a long time at the hospital. After you left the hospital, you made a phone call. You made a phone call to your mother. You talked to her until the middle of the night. The hospital was an oncology clinic. Even if you can't see the content content of these communications, the activity records, what the government calls metadata, which they argue they do not need a warrant to collect, tells the whole story. And these activity records are being created and shared and collected and intercepted constantly by companies and governments. And ultimately it means as they sell these, as they trade these, as they make their businesses on the backs of these records, what they are selling is not information. What they're selling is us. They're selling our future. They're selling our past. They are selling our history, our identity, and ultimately they are stealing our power and making our stories work for them.
So this Rasmussen report says 41% of young voters would give artificial intelligence government power. Voters ages 18 to 39 would support a proposal to take power away from the most human lawmakers and instead give an advanced AI system the authority to control the majority of public policy decisions. That includes 21% who strongly support letting AI have public policy authority. 49% of younger voters would oppose putting an advanced artificial intelligence system in charge of public policy, including 35% who strongly oppose, while 10% not sure. So 51% are either for it or unsure. So over half. Is that what they're saying here? 41% would support it. 10% are not sure. So if we even cut this in half, then it's what? 46% would support it if these split evenly. More than a third of under 40 voters would let artificial intelligence replace the U.S. Constitution and the Supreme Court. 36% support giving an advanced AI system the authority to determine the rights that belong to individuals' families, including rights related to speech, religious practices, government authority, and property. But what does that mean? You're just programming it, but what's the ideology behind the thing? What are you saying? What exactly are you talking about here? Speech, religious practices, government authority, and property? What are you basing all those things on? Is it the libtard woke position? Is it the authoritarian right-wing position? The pagan wackos? It's too fixed. That's the thing, is that we kind of need people in these positions because there's elements of people's lives that are unable to be accounted for through a data set. You have to have a human to be able to judge these things. What we're seeing is the early emergence of an AI strongman mentality among younger generations. Younger generations are increasingly disillusioned with the failures of traditional institutions, so much so that they are willing to hand control to artificial intelligence. Has this not been what I've been saying? Is that there's been an erosion and a complete disillusionment of the current generations from what the old world was. And some of this is not wholly organic. Some of this has been caused. Destruction of the old world is going to issue in a new world, a new order, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people on the side. They're trying to get people to soften up to an idea of totalitarian technocracy. Many under 40 voters were willing to let artificial intelligence wield military power. 35% would support a proposal to give an advanced AI system the authority to control all of the world's largest militaries with the express purpose of reducing the number of people who die from war. Among other findings of the Rasmussen report's survey of under 40 likely voters, women are less likely than men to support letting artificial intelligence run things. Interesting. While 6% of men ages 18 to 39 at least somewhat support giving an advanced AI system the authority to control the majority of public policy decisions. Only 37% of women voters agree. Voters under 30 are more enthusiastic about giving authority to artificial intelligence than those ages 30 to 39. For example, while 40% of voters age 18 to 24 support authorizing an advanced AI system to control all of the world's largest militaries, that declines to 30% among ages 35 to 39. Whites are less supportive of giving power to AI than our minority voters. Look at that. On the question of giving an advanced AI system the authority to determine the rights that belong to individuals and families, 29% of whites support such a proposal compared to 46% of blacks, 50% of Hispanics, and 44% of other minorities. What? I thought that like minorities hated the man and hated government control and overreach. They're saying, whoa, yeah, we've been oppressed by the white man or whatever the hell, or the government. Hispanics? 50% of Hispanics? Aren't you guys like scared of being deported and being profiled and shit? You're like, no, let's give more power to the government. What in the world? I do know Hispanics seem to have a proclivity to like the strongman mentality, like the kind of authoritarian leaders, at least from the track record of South America. For many, the thought process is These institutions are already so broken, corrupt, and ineffective. How could it get any worse if we're going to put AI in charge? Oh, that's interesting. I think whites are getting on there too, though. The thought process is these institutions are already broken, corrupt, and ineffective. How could it get worse? Are white people not also feeling like that? All these institutions are woke and they're against us to a degree. Maybe younger, like they said, younger generations are more in favor of this. Could the younger generations who have been put in this oppressive kind of society where they're told that they're bad, where they're told, white, especially white men, told bad and useless and corrupt and colonizers and shit, could they also be thinking, look, I'm just going to, it's like the Nick Fuentes thing. I'm just going to get in power. I'm going to just rise to the ranks of power and I'll control this thing, this authoritarian system, especially as the generation below us owns and has less and less. You don't have a woman, you don't have a good job, you don't have assets, you don't have a place to live. There will be more people who are like, I'm down for anything. Whatever I have is garbage and not working, whatever we have. So I'm down for something new. That's interesting, man. It's the seeding of resentment. Minorities have a lot of resentment in them. That's been fostered. It's been fostered in them. There's some that's organic, but there's a lot that's fostered and it's artificial. And I think whites are also increasingly becoming more and more resentful of everybody. Really, everybody's becoming resentful of everybody. Men are resentful of women. Blacks are resentful of whites. Whites are increasingly becoming resentful of immigrants and blacks and Hispanic, all these. Young people are resentful of the boomers. It's like you have to plant the seed of resentment in people to make them think that whatever's happening, whatever's going on out there, what we have is garbage and we need something new. And we need a total reset. The Great Reset. Hello? And especially if these people have nothing, if a lot of these people have nothing, and somebody comes to them and says, we're going to offer you things. We're going to offer you housing. We're going to offer you an electronic AI car. We're going to offer you a government-issued goth girlfriend. They might be like, I'll take it. I'll take it. But there's always strings attached with those things. Always.